How can we deepen our diversity consciousness? Diversity consciousness describes the ways in which, one, we leverage differences as strengths, and two, we recognize the ways in which who we are impacts other people, both close to us and our broader society. An important component of diversity consciousness is power, and being conscious of the social power that we have in the world. And when we think about the power that we have in the world, we not only need to think about our identities. So, for example, in some cases, when you walk into a room, the person in the room may greet you first because you are a man, right? And they may serve the woman last. Being aware of how those social dynamics may operate is a form of diversity consciousness and can lead to you being a better manager and leader in your organization when you understand how these social dynamics operate. So, what is the importance of diversity consciousness, right? The first thing it does is, if you develop an awareness of how you impact those around you and how those are impacting the broader society, in addition to the ways in which society impacts your closest community and then those impacts on you, if you're aware of the ways in which those play out, you can then become aware of how to enhance your teamwork. You're thinking about how you can interact with those closest to you. You can balance fitting in and being yourself. You can develop respect and recognizing the strengths of others. And you can foster interpersonal relationships and communication. So how do we develop this? Let me develop 6 strategies or outline 6 strategies that you can foster to enhance your diversity consciousness. Number 1, you can examine yourself and your world. Think about you at the center of your close connections and then at the center of the society. I would like you to ask yourself, how do you impact those closest to you, and how do you impact the society as a whole? And then you need to ask yourself how society is impacting those closest to you and how those people are impacting you. So you need to examine that, okay? The second thing is expanding your knowledge of others and the world. An important thing to do is to not only read one source of information about other people. So when you see news headlines that use stereotypes, it's important for you to think about the different perspectives. And there is no harm in opening up conversations with people that you have never met. Opening up your horizons, thinking about yourself as a global citizen, can help you see people less as the other and more as just a part of this salad, this multiple world that we live in. Number 3, stepping outside of ourselves. There is a very, very important value in being able to step outside of your comfort zone and being vulnerable, and thinking about the ways in which you can connect and reach out to those who may be different to yourself. Number 4, gauging the playing field. The level of the playing field. It's important as a manager to understand that society is not just happening outside, it's also happening within your organization. So some of the problematic, stereotypical, discriminatory pieces that are happening out there in the world are also likely to be happening in your organization because people bring home to their work, right? And so you need to gauge the ways in which men and women are interacting with each other. You need to gauge the ways in which certain religious groups in your organization may be feeling. Even though they may all be managers, there may be some interpersonal dynamics between them that is undermining one group compared to another, right? So think about the organizational hierarchy, but then also think about the interpersonal hierarchies that may exist because those hierarchies exist outside in the society, right? Checking up on yourself. It's important to, after a situation, reflect and think about how, not necessarily thinking about why people reacted the way they did, but what you did to force that reaction, right? So human interaction is a two-way street. Checking in on yourself is about recognizing the way in which you consciously or subconsciously reinforce some of the power dynamics. So checking in on yourself and even getting perhaps a mentor to help you just work through and dialogue some of the ways in which you can make sure that you are checking your own biases and blind spots. Finally, following through. When you make a commitment to being conscious of others, being respectful of others, following through on your promises is a very, very important piece. For example, often managers may make a commitment to getting to know someone from a different culture. And that is a very difficult process. But following through on that commitment and doing your best is a very, very important part of developing those relationships. And so using these 6 strategies, you can begin to foster a broader sense of an inclusive organization, what that could look like. And we will be outlining some of these in more detail throughout this course.